Welcome to Business Chat, the platform dedicated to small businesses, freelancers, and startups. We talk about all the aspects of business, from sales to marketing to admin. Today I have the great pleasure to speak with Kieran J. Johnson, the founder and director of I Am Castings, which is a modeling and staffing agency based in East London. How are you, Kieran? Welcome to the show.
I'm really good, Paolo. Thank you very much for having me on.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Kieran, why don't we start about explaining what you do and what has been your journey until arrive to I Am Casting and what I Am Casting does?
Okay, so I Am Castings is a commercial casting and event staffing agency. So commercial casting means that we find faces, models, and people for visual productions. So that could be TV commercials, print ads, pictures for your website or online imagery. And then on the staffing side, we provide trained and professional event staff. So that could be floor managers, floor staff, waiters, waitresses, hosts, hostesses, brand ambassadors, performers, and the like. And that's our two core businesses. I got here to making I Am by we incorporated it in 2011. I previously had worked in several different model agencies as a booker. So a booker is someone who basically books models. We book them for their travel, book them for shoots, and basically manage all the admin that goes into the involved with booking of models and their shoots. And I'd previously been a booker, and all that time I had been working events. I'd been an event manager, working a variety of different events. I've worked probably nearly every type of role you probably could have in events, and I was working at an agency in 2010. I think that was when it was, and I decided that I wanted to do this myself. I wanted to start on a smaller scale and really focus on something which has been coined as being real casting or genuine casting, where you basically were putting forward people, everyday people, for shoots and for productions. There's been, over the last several years, a massive increase in the consumed media that people want to see people like them. People could be their friends or someone who they can relate to. The age of like adoration and looking up and saying, I want to become that person, it's not completely gone in advertising and marketing, but it's slowly kind of on its way out. So we are one of the agencies that help fill that niche, and we've been going, since 2011, and it's going pretty well at the moment, doing that and providing those faces and people and offering that kind of personal touch to the services that we offer.
Of course. And so can you tell us a little bit how people that, of course, small enterprise is our audience basically, or even startups. Sometimes they need people for a small event or for just one day worth of job to do something at their offices. Can you tell us a little bit what can they do to organize that with people? I know that there are some, for example, Facebook groups, etc. People can go and fish. Let's call it like that. Translated from Italian, I don't know. But taking people, random people that could work for them. So can you tell us a little bit more that venue about that way, finding people by yourself or working with an agency? What are the main differences, basically?
Yes, definitely. But if you do have something like a dinner party or an event of any sort, and you need an extra pair of hands, it is definitely possible to use social media, Facebook groups, Instagram and stuff, and you can put requests out for people to come and help you. That's definitely usable. Like it is a way of doing it. I would say that after hearing dozens of horror stories from people who have got people from there, because it is a great resource. I'm not going to say that social media is not a great resource of finding people. The only thing I would say is that it's finding the right people, because you could get someone from a Facebook group and it's for an event, and then they are not obliged to to turn up. They could just not turn up, or they could call you 24 hours before and saying, I can't do it. I've got something else come up, and because they're not obliged and they're not contracted to be there. They can be unreliable. Or you can get people who are saying, let's say you needed a cocktail bartender, someone who can make cocktails, and someone goes, yes, I can do that, I can definitely do that, and then they turn up on your night and they can't make cocktails. They think a cocktail is putting Jack Daniels in with Coke and ice, something, and that's what a cocktail is. And then on the night or on the day or night of the event, you're stuck. And I imagine that people will be having to fill in those gaps which are happening, because what we've realized and what we have developed for finding staff is people seem to think that many roles are very easy to do. Like, people think it's quite easy to hold a tray with several glasses of champagne, or people think it's quite easy being a brand ambassador, being in a shopping center for a brand and being able to engage for 6 hours, 7 hours, but obviously with breaks, 6-7 hours with the public, and like being able to spew that information again and again and again, and to keep upbeat. And there's a misconception that I can do that. That's quite easy. It's an easy job, and they're not. It's a skilled profession. You need to be able to be engaging. You need to have the technical skill a lot of the time for making drinks or making the food or passing out food or engaging with the public. So even though social media is a great resource for that, it means you just have to be incredibly thorough and to make sure and try and make them or confirm that they are going to turn up, which we've heard so many times of people saying, we've had emergency calls from people saying, I've got some people from Facebook, our event's happening, they're not answering their phone, we need people, can you send the people over? So we've had that several times coming through. So I would, obviously we have an agency, but I'd say for your peace of mind and to know you're getting professional, trained staff, also insured, like people on Facebook, or not say social media, are not insured. So if they come to your venue, your house, and they break the TV or they smash something, you are liable. You are liable for that. They wouldn't be liable because you're employing them. You don't have insurance, and you'd be liable, or it depends if you have insurance to be able to cover that. With our staff, they're insured. So if anything goes wrong, our insurance will cover that. It will come and investigate it and make sure it happens. So it is definitely possible, and depending on the event, it might be something really small, and social media sourcing of people will be good, but just for peace of mind, and I would say come to an agency like us, because we can, be that peace of mind knowing that the people are going to turn up, they're insured, they're professional, they're trained in what they're meant to do. And because I think that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants that burden lifted of like, I don't have to worry about that. So, and that's what we try and offer to people.
Yeah. So, it makes complete sense, because of course it's even, I mean, no offense for anybody, but serving sometimes, as you mentioned, you just have to have a tray of glasses or a tray of finger food in your hand. But, it's not as easy as it looked like, the way you have to, not be too intrusive, for example. And it's something that you learn by actually working for a company that teach you how to do that. And then you can actually start be a professional in that aspect, and sell your services to another agency, for example. So, Kieran, can you tell us a little bit? So, what are the steps that people need to take? First of all, how to be safe, if there is any actually safety in social media and engaging, or just do it yourself way, and what are the steps that people need to do when they work with an agency, when you take over, and what are your responsibilities?
I'd say with social media, that the main and probably only bit of advice that I could be is that you have to be incredibly thorough. You have to make sure you've given them enough, given all the information so the person knows what they get involved in, and you need to, and then you've kind of got to hope that they will turn up, I think, then, because there's no legal agreement between you and them. They're not obliged to turn up if they don't want to, and you can't chase them up afterwards and saying, my event couldn't go ahead because you wouldn't turn up. So I would say you have to be incredibly thorough and try and make sure that they turn up. But that is the limitation, because there is no legal ramifications for people to turn up. So I'd say that for that. And the steps if you wanted to you'd like to acquire staff or people through an agency like us, a similar thing. What we want is generally as much information as you can give, as much info about timings, uniform, what will they be doing, is there a menu, or let's say if it's floor staff, is there a menu they need to know, is there a wine list that they need to know where it's come from, or where the grapes are from, or if there is say it's for a brand ambassador role and it's for computers in a shopping center, we need all that information. But and that's what we do. We offer, so for that example, having brand ambassadors providing information about a product in a shopping center, we actually provide training. So we would come and meet the client, we would get all the information on the specs of the computer, what they need to go, what needs to be passed, what needs to be relayed, what data needs to be collected, and then we would do a training day with our staff before they ever turn up on the stand. So we go in and would like to get as much information as possible, because if us and our staff have all the information, they can convey your message or in the best way possible. They're not going to be, I don't know, or I don't know what wine that is, I don't know where that cheese comes from, or I don't know if that's got nuts in it, or I don't know if it's gluten and those things. And then that just comes across to your attendees, that they're like, oh, they've got some slapdash staff they've just pulled in from Facebook, and it becomes very apparent, like if you haven't got staff who are zealous or involved in what they're doing, and we always say, give us all the knowledge or everything, or all the information, and then we can package it and process it and pass it on to our staff. So that's what I would say, just as much information as you can give to us, and then you will get the best service possible, because the staff are prepared and ready to deal with any queries or any hiccups that might happen, and they're ready to perform.
Yeah, and actually, when you were talking about all this stuffing and cocktails, etc., it happened to me. Actually, I was working for an enterprise. We had a big party, and actually, the barman were not up to the job, because they were very, very slow. They didn't know how to move. And that was actually really, really apparent. So it's quite dangerous, to be honest, because if you are creating a party for your staff, okay, the people are useless. Fair enough. We hire somebody that was not up to the job. But if you have clients at your party, that is actually
because
that you cannot afford.
That's a level of incompetence that if you've done it there. I'm not going to say they're directly going to think that, but that thought is going to be there. Oh, they can't hire these staff. How competent are they going to be with what we're doing together? So all these little things that you're doing are all on show, and everyone wants to look their best. So yeah, I've been to events before, and they've been a free bar. So it's been a free bar, gone there, and the staff is not competent enough, and you're 6-7 people deep at the bar, because people are going to bar go, I want 4 mojitos and 2 old fashions, and they're like, oh god, and because people are not paying, people will order a lot more, and then your event's like, do you want to go to the bar? Oh no, I don't want to go to the bar because it's going to take me half an hour to get a drink.
Anyway, thank you so much, Kieran. That has been really, really exhaustive. I'm really happy, because I think there are a lot of people that at some point will have to create small, they don't need to be big gatherings, big events, but at least they know what are the pros and the cons to hire an agency, etc. Thank you so much. I hope to have a chat again with you at some point. We don't know. You have many things that you can talk about, so maybe it will happen again.
I'm definitely a talker, so yeah, definitely things to talk about, and it's been great. It's been great to talk to you during this time, and I look forward to doing and hopefully doing it again.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Paolo.
Bye-bye.